Welcome to another episode of 40K Fanatics. I am Shane, and Nurgle has visited your boy, Casey.
Yes, Shane.
Nurgle recently left you, and now it's on me.
The Emperor passed his blessings unto myself, and now Nurgle went for weaker prey and chose you to bless with his gifts.
You know what? It's fresh. It started Saturday. Now, as we record this Wednesday, and I am on the mend. I think the Emperor's Light will protect.
Well, you've been doing a lot of traveling.
I did. I went out to Wendover, Nevada, which is a wide spot in a desert road right next to the Bonneville Salt Flats where they do the land speed record.
Dark, dusty highway.
Yeah. And
cool wind in your hair.
Yeah, there was that. There was a 2-hour jet ride, and then there was just an odyssey back on Sunday from somewhere in Kansas. It's all a bit of a blur. I do have stuff in my bits box, but first we have a little business to tend to.
Tend to that business. Let's go.
When this comes out on Friday, me and Casey will be at the NEA Gamer Fest.
Oh boy!
It starts on Thursday, the 20th, and goes till Sunday, the 23rd. I believe are their dates. It's going to be at the Hilton Garden Inn in Jonesboro, Arkansas, and it's a big O Game Fest, as the name would indicate.
Yep.
It's going to be $50 at the door. I believe it's too late to save $10 buying your ticket online.
It is.
But it's going to benefit the Friends of the Library charity organization, and they're going to have all kinds of things. There's a painting contest, which we are both entering.
Yeah, and you're in the 40K contest, right?
I am not going to be doing the 40K because it starts at 9 a.m., and I will be asleep.
And I'll be at work, so... Yeah, we both entered the painting contest. I mentioned it to you, and it was like 2 seconds later, I'm in.
No, yeah, I mean, you got to enter in the painting contest.
I'm not only in the painting contest, but I'm in the, what was the other one? The
speed painting contest, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was full up by the time I was made aware of it. But they're going to have a lot of stuff at the Gamer Fest.
We get to walk away with free models after we're done painting them.
Yeah, you're going to get a model.
You're going to get a model.
I'm going to get an award for winning the painting contest.
Oh, right, yeah. And we're both entering. Yes, that's what it is. Yes, I'm sorry, I got way confused. Yeah, we're both entering models into this painting competition. You're entering your best model yet, Jerry the GIF.
Or right? Gary the GIF.
Or Gary the GIF.
Yeah, I think that's the one. I need to do his base rim. I painted it silver yesterday, and I don't like that. I'm just going to make it black.
Why?
Well, because I see a red door, and I want to paint it black.
It's 2 song references in one pod.
That's good.
Yeah.
We're doing our best to get demonetized.
He's entering Jerry the GIF, or Gary the GIF. If you guys want to go check that out, we have photos of him up on our Twitter.
At 40K Fanatics.
Yeah, and if you want to come see my entry was just posted today on the 19th. It is a Dark Angels conversion that I have converted and painted for a friend of mine. It looks pretty great. Shane recently saw it. Shane, what do you think so far?
I think it looks really good. You said you did non-metallic metal on it, and
tried my best.
Yeah, and I think that I've not tried. Full disclosure, I've not tried non-metallic metal at all myself. However, I've watched a lot of videos, which has given me the sort of what do you call paralysis by analysis with it.
Oh yeah,
and
the fear of the fear of the thought of doing it.
Yeah, well, the thing that every single person that does it well says is you got to go loud with it. Loud. And I think what you've done...
I got close.
Yeah, I think what you've done is an excellent, well-contrasted edge highlight.
Yeah, and
which in and of itself is a thing that that we should strive to do.
Yeah, and it's pretty good. It's hands down... Honest opinion, my best model to this day.
The model clean, man.
It looks good. And my goal, just go in and beat everybody in our community.
Yeah.
It's just so simple.
It's a simple goal. It's a good plan.
Yeah.
Let's see. So that's...
We done talking about Gamers Fest?
Yeah. So Gamer Fest and next week, the pod, spoiler alert, will probably be about our experience at Gamer Fest. Maybe we'll play some games. Maybe we'll win some games because they've got a whole play and win shelf. Who knows? it's gonna be a good time. We're gonna fellowship with the community.
Yeah, check out the links on the Twitter if you guys just want to donate. They really need some help, because these libraries provide lots of resources to our community, not only just books, but movies, internet access, stuff that people really don't have in some lower income households. It really helps out.
We've got news for the podcast / channel, which is Casey has finally got all the pods on YouTube. So if you're a person who doesn't like to pay Apple or pay Spotify or any of those kind of things, the pod is now available free on YouTube as well. We've got all the episodes up, and we should, I think, be able to get the episodes out simultaneously.
Yeah,
so on Friday we'll have the YouTube drop and the Spotify drop and everywhere, right?
Yes. From now on, everything should drop pretty much about the same time. The only difference would be YouTube lore videos. They'll be dropping predominantly on Saturdays and Sundays. But as far as podcast and podcast YouTube goes, they'll be posted on the same day on Friday as fast as I can get them uploaded.
Neat. So, check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video.
Follow Twitter so you can keep up with
Twitter. And where are the hateful comments?
Seriously?
I still don't see them.
Nobody's coming at us. Come on, guys. Where are the gatekeepers that I hear about every day?
That's right.
The neckbeards, Shane.
What did, let's see. Bitsbox is supposed to be what we did in the hobby. So, what I did in the hobby this week, I built Lady Olinda of the Nighthaunt Age of Sigmar army, and she is bouncy. She is so bouncy, man. I tell you what. Question for you. Have you ever started an army and gotten to a point and just thought, I've chosen the wrong army?
A little bit. Like, it sucks because I can relate to a bit where you pick something that you like and then you follow the meta a bit, and then maybe the meta will change, and then next thing you know, you're playing with a broke army that you spent a ton of time painting.
Well, this isn't even that.
What is it then?
I just don't like painting the Nighthaunt. And I thought, okay, so I'm highly conflicted with all of this. The Nighthaunt are awesome. I love the idea of an army of ghosts. Because
I'm looking at Lady Olinda right now. She looks really cool, man.
She's really cool, but she's bouncy, man. So bouncy.
Because she's a ghost?
all of these models are made out of string.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
very thin plastic from what I've seen.
I put her together, and it was a tweezer's job, and it was, she's just so, it's all so spindly, But then also, I started priming her and the Scriptor Mortis, another character.
Ooh.
And I'm priming them white because I want to get this fade from purple to white or whatever color to white. And
no.
I've got 2 airbrushed coats on, and they need a third because you can still see through it. And it's just, this priming is the gift that keeps on giving with these things.
And I'm guessing because it bounces around so much, the primer's not hitting all the spots, is it?
It just, you
can't,
you can't turn it around without the thing starting to vibrate. But then once I get that part done, just the painting I'm finding very monotonous. It's kind of like I end up having to batch paint the whole thing because you do the little fade with the airbrush, and that's a batch, and then you go to do their little shawls, and that's a batch, and then you've got to wait on that to dry so you can do the whatever trim they've got, and that's a batch. And at the end of the day, I'm finding them not very unique, and it's just they are not exactly lighting my sun. Let's just say that they're rough to paint, and I'm not loving building them either. And I hate all that because
sorry to hear that, man.
I feel like if I were just playing with them, I'd love them.
Okay,
because I like the rules and I like the idea of this big army of ghosts. However, once I start playing with them, I'm going to have to start dealing with how you pick up a group of 10 of these things because they are spindly, they're full of holes, and they all have little scythes, so they barrel of monkeys together.
Yeah, and it's hard to untangle, and you don't want to break it.
It's hard to untangle them, and they're very fragile.
And for those of you who don't know, who are just chiming into the pod and listening to us, me and Shane sort of have this standard where we don't really like playing plastic gray models. We prefer to paint them before we even field them. So I can relate to that headache you're describing.
You were underselling our bouginess.
We are pretty bougie.
We're so bougie. There has not been a game yet where I've played a gray model. So
for real.
And that's funny. There's probably a lot of listeners that are just like, well, no big deal. Just build them and throw them out there.
Points.
Yeah, I want my 10 points.
And the story. I like the story too.
I know. And you know what? This bougie life, we didn't choose it. It chose us.
For real.
If you ever lay down those first 10 models in Kill Team fully painted, or you put down that first 1,000 points of Big 40K down fully painted, you can't put 5 dudes gray next to all that goodness.
For real.
I defy you.
Anything else for the Bits box?
That's about it. I should have picked orcs. I know having done it that I would have had a way better time painting that big old cabbage dude, the big orc dude on the dragon that walks like a bulldog,
Gnaw Masher or whatever, Rock Masher or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, big cabbage looking guy.
It does look like cabbage.
He would have been so fun to paint.
Gosh.
And it's just like...
Now it's in my head.
Yeah, you just don't realize how much it helps to have sort of vaguely humanoid surfaces to paint on your models.
Yeah.
Because when I go to sort of edge highlight one of these ghosts, like they have bony arms and hands. So you kind of like hit some white over their forearm and hit some white over their knuckles. And that's it. Mm-hmm. Their faces, you kind of paint them white because down below them they've got skeletal mouths that you then see the interior of the ghost. And all of that is cool. It's just
harder than a humanoid would be.
It would just be fun to paint like orc muscles and armor. Yeah. I definitely would not have picked the who are the Chaos Space Marines of Age of Sigmar? What are they called?
Sigmar. The Chaos Space Marines.
They're
the Slaves to Darkness.
The Slaves to Darkness.
Slaves to Darkness.
Yeah, I would not have picked them because that's just more Chaos Space Marines with horses.
Fair.
But, that's my bits box closed. How about you?
My bits box was pretty similar. I nailed a lot more. I'm at the end phase of batch painting all those Dark Angels, so things are just popping off one by one. People have probably seen me pretty active on the socials, posting them, and you're probably going to see more in the weeks to come. I've finished up that captain that I mentioned previously, and it looks really good. And on top of all of that, I noticed something fun today, and I benefited from it. Would you like to know what that is?
Well, it is a podcast where we talk, so yes.
I follow Warhammer or the official Warhammer Twitter, and I often like and retweet some of their stuff so that our followers can check that stuff out, with all the updates and everything that's been going crazy lately.
And we be riding coattails.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that later. I saw that they posted something on Warhammer Plus. They went on their Twitter, said, we posted a new video on Warhammer Plus about librarians. Recently, I finished painting a Dark Angels librarian, and I said, gotta love librarians in the comments, and posted a few pictures of it. Next thing I know, it is not only liked by one of their professional Games Workshop painters, but also retweeted and liked and commented by their lore master for Warhammer Plus.
Ooh.
Which I am a subscriber to.
You're famous now.
Yeah, I feel pretty big time. They really enjoyed that.
That's it. Casey of 40K Fanatics has arrived with an official retweet.
But earlier we were talking about hate. Well, I did see something that was pretty shocking today. We had I saw something, and I don't know. It was a person of the LBGT, community, and they are a Warhammer painter. Well, they were coming from a Warhammer game, and somebody saw them, and they saw that they were, all their stuff was in a bag, all of their army, and somebody saw them being, a very alternative-looking person, and knocked their army out of Chaos Space Marines right out of their hands onto the ground and kicked it.
No!
Broke a Forge Fiend, broke a Helldrake, broke a couple Thousand Suns models, a Hellbrute. All of it just busted, man. And I was like, Wow.
Moral of the story is don't carry your army in a bag.
That's true. That's a good
not,
point.
That's not the moral. The moral is don't be a jerk.
Yeah, don't be a jerk.
Let people do what they want to do.
Yeah,
they're way bigger fish to fry.
You live your life, they live theirs.
That's right.
And I think that's about it for my Bits box. I'm excited for Games Fest, and that's it. I'm closing the Bits box. Which
Casey, the human sound effect engine. Our main topic today is going to be a bit of a news dump.
Yeah, we're talking about a lot of updates today and a lot of...
I was out of town, and now I'm sick.
Yeah.
So I didn't have much to come up with, but we put our heads together.
We're vamping.
We're just going to ride it out. We have 30 minutes to fill.
I don't even know what we're going to be calling this one.
I don't know either. But the most exciting thing this week is new Tyranids.
Tyranids!
The range refresh is in full effect.
Ooh, boy.
And all of these can be found on the GW community website.
Yeah,
you can see the pictures of these things.
And the videos. The new models.
New models. Let's talk about the new models. You've seen all the pictures?
Yes, and I've mentioned in previous episodes the Norn Emissary, I believe.
Yeah.
And you saw that. Looks like a proper kaiju.
Yeah. They showed that thing next to, what's the Aldari tall boy called?
Oh, the Wraithenite?
Yeah. He's like as tall as that.
Dude, I'm telling you.
So this dude's like as tall as an old school G.I. Joe.
2 stories tall, comparatively.
It's going to be great.
Ooh, yeah. And you can build it in 2 ways. Norn Emissary, which I think what they're hinting at is that one's more melee, and a Norn... an
assimilator.
Assimilator, which is like a range thing. And I think it's going to have something where it can whip at like a nearby unit and pull it towards it.
Oh, that'll be cool.
I'd like that.
Yeah, the Norn Emissary has got swords on top of swords. Like he's holding swords in his sword hands, isn't he?
Claws and swords all over. You like swords? We got swords for your swords on swords.
What is your opinion of a dual kit? Because I really like the idea of a dual kit.
I like it because as an orc player, you get bits. You get all those extra bits. So, like, if you want to do something fun with another model, you could throw those bits on there. So.
Yeah, I like them too. The new Biovore Pyrovore.
Ooh, that one look cool.
It's a double kit, you know.
You get Spore Mines and the Biovore.
And I couldn't tell in the article, but they've got new lictors coming out, and they look super Cthulhu monster in the face,
Very
which I
Cthulhu.
love. But then there's also a new unit called a Neurolictor.
Yeah, a psychic lictor?
Yeah, but I wasn't sure if that's like another double kit or if that's 2 different kits.
Dude, I think it's a double kit.
Man, I mean, I like a double kit.
Or no, my bad, separate kits, 2 separate kits.
That's separate kits. Okay.
Yeah, they look too different not to be.
Forge Fiend Mauler Fiend is a double kit that I really appreciate.
Yeah, it looks really cool, and you could do a lot of creative stuff with it.
Well, and then, you know, if you want to have both, you end up buying both kits. So you end up having all these extra guns when you get done with your Mauler Fiend, or when you get done with your Forge Fiend, you end up with all these extra tentacles. So you go like double tendrils on your Mauler Fiend on the back end. The Death Leaper, which we've seen with the cape.
Oh yeah, the Cape Boy, the vampire Tyranid. I love that thing.
And so I guess he's going to lead. I guess he's going to lead the new lictors, right?
I guess.
So you're going to attach him to them?
On top of all of these awesome models, I recently finished Warhammer 40K's book, Leviathan, from the Black Library.
Oh, yeah?
On the cusp of finding out about Ogrim. Right then. So all these new models were coming out one by one, and I was finishing up Leviathan, and then it's like, hey, finally finished. I wonder if there's any more new models. And then I look at the Twitter, and it's like, hey, the Space Marines lost.
Yeah, so I haven't been keeping up with the lore as it's not my job.
That's my job.
That's your job. So tell me what Leviathan is.
Leviathan is the Hive Fleet, pretty much. So it's like the Hive Fleet body comes into the Milky Way galaxy, and the Tyranids splinter off. Ogrim was attacked by a Splinter Fleet, and the book I read was also attacked by Splinter Fleet. So the Tyranids found that instead of using a big force in one battle, let's do all these little battles with littler forces. We'll get more like growth, and these little splinter fleets will grow into big fleets with successes or minor successes. And it's really great because we just have been following the Warhammer Twitter and the socials, and Games Workshop said, hey, let's do this thing where we sell Leviathan box and track who wins and who loses. So the community went out and they said, okay, I played a game against Gary with the Leviathan box. My Space Marines beat his Tyranids. And they're like, okay, that's a tick for the Space Marines. And then they just let everybody around the world play as many games as they could with Leviathan. And at the end of everything, they got the results. And it looks like the Tyranids won 57 to 43% of the time.
Which is interesting, because there were more points in Space Marines in the box.
I know.
Could
it be broken?
No, it could.
It's pretty close.
Well, it could be a couple of things. It could be GW cheated.
I mean, fair. If you've read previous GW, you would have assumed Space Marines go
right. If they cheated backwards. So,
but it was a great chance for them to reveal all these new models.
Oh yeah. So here's the thing: selection bias is a thing, and I would say that 10th edition definitely has got some new players into the game, right? Those new players will not be they will not be corrupted as maybe we are, and certainly players that have been in it longer than us in the sort of I'm tired of Space Marines thing, right? Therefore, I submit to you, anybody who wanted to play the Tyranids has possibly played before. The people that really wanted to play the Space Marines,
you have a point,
are the new kids in town who were getting
Everybody wants to be Superman when they get into comics. So everybody who gets into 40K, usually they start with Space Marines.
That's right.
So I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you don't get into the there's nobody jumping in with both feet into the Aldari. Unless they're going for the broken meta, which I have in my show notes we need to mention.
That is true.
But that is not where they're starting. They're starting on Space Marines. They're starting on Orcs.
They're starting on what they think is fun.
That's right.
Cool. Real cool.
Yeah. And obviously plenty of people are starting on Tyranids too. However, I think that there's some selection bias happening where new players are playing the Space Marines, and therefore their buddies who are getting the other half of the box, that are guys that are, I'm tired of Space Marines. I've been through that phase. Let me get those new bugs.
I've been seeing some pretty funny memes, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's just like it's like some Tyranid updating Twitter on his phone. It's like, we did it, and then Rabute Gilliman of the Ultramarines, they did it. Then all of the other Xenos factions looking up at a screen like, they did it.
We didn't even mention the new Gene Stealers.
Ooh, the new Gene Stealers, yeah. Those look good. They needed a new model. They needed
a new model because they looked so...
garbage.
Yeah. You know what they looked like? They looked like...
They were mid-tier.
They looked like trees that you would put around a miniature railroad.
What? Oh.
Yeah, the old ones... Because they were so like chonky and funny and sort of just standing there.
Yeah, they kind of and I think it kind of went
they
with
had model train set terrain vibes.
I think it kind of went with the whole what Gene Stealers used to be kind of thing on their old model. They used to not even be Tyranids. They just were just some random Xenos thing, and you played Space Hulk. And then they updated to them being Tyranids, and we had these models that were recent, and they were kind of not really good looking. The paint jobs could make them look good. Paint jobs could make them look really good. But they kind of just looked like weird four-armed aliens. I don't know. I'm riffing. The new ones, though.
Model train set trees.
The new ones. They look cool. There's a clear separation with the carapace and the body.
Yeah.
A lot more details on these new Tyranids.
They look like they're in motion, which is always good.
More dynamic poses, yes.
Speaking of that, the new Termagants and Hormagants.
Yeah, Termagants.
Yeah, and look, I've never played any Tyranids. I've never even played against any Tyranids. But I saw the new Termagants
And
Hormagaunts from the Leviathan box. And those dudes are small.
They very are, yes. They're like on 25 millimeter bases, I believe.
Shout out to Ninjon on YouTube. He painted some of them.
Ooh, did he?
Yeah, he did. And, I mean, he made it look easy, which, you know.
They're baseline models. So.
Those guys make a lot of stuff look easy. But what he did, which I thought was brilliant, is he primed them basically the color all their skin would be.
Smart.
And then dumped them in wash. Skin done. Paint the carapace.
Yeah.
You're finished.
Basic job.
They looked great. And it went fast, and I thought,
the kit.
Man, that would be fun.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just knock off something pretty easy and see how good you get it. Yeah. And if you put more detail into it, then, you know, you got really good ones looking.
Well, yeah, because if you wanted to, you could go back through and highlight all their little...
Make them look decent.
All their little bits, But
the kit. Now, as far as I know, Termagants and Hormagaunts used to just run them all melee or all shooty.
Yeah.
Now, you can run them with, like, a heavy weapon and, like, a mid-tier weapon from what the look of it is. The very phallic-looking rifle that I sent you a picture of.
Yeah, they've got a lot.
Then the rest are, like, melee.
Yeah, they've got a lot more weapons than I think people thought they would have, especially with the way that a lot of the weapons in Space Marines and things have been sort of combined.
They've been very diversified.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, when we go to codexes, are we going to get all these weapon types back? I don't know if I want them back, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
so hands down, Tyranids, what is your favorite model? Just before you go on off that riff.
The new dude with the cape.
Gosh, I can't even find the picture of it. What is it called?
He's the Death Leaper.
Is it Death Leaper? That's his name?
Death Leaper, yeah.
Do you think that's a character?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't it be a character? If you got a cape, obviously you're a character.
You have to be. It's mandatory.
No capes. But what were you saying?
Well, just talking about like all those weapon options and whether or not we're going to continue to have sort of combined weapons, right? Because used to, you would have a combi melta, combi flamer, combi bolter, combi plasma, right? Now
you'd pick, yeah,
and you'd pick, and then remember you'd have to take your bolter bottom and glue the various top to the top of it, to make this two-half thing.
Customize, yeah.
Right. Well, now, at least, I mean, it's this way in Chaos Space Marines, and I think it's this way in regular Space Marines. Combi stuff is just combi weapon, and then it either has anti-infantry 4+ or whatever the case may be, depending on the unit type. And I think I like that better. And it's that way with the melee weapons. Like, you have chain swords, and then you have accursed weapons in my army's case. And the accursed weapons cover your demon sword and your power sword and your ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, right?
Yeah.
Which I like because I can put, like, the power mace on the guy and just be like, it's an accursed weapon, rather than having to go to the sheet of
make it your own thing,
miscellaneous melee weapons, and calling it a whatever.
But I'll tell you though, I think that with Tyranids, that extra customization will draw a lot more people to that army. It makes it more appealing in my eyes, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, well, that could be. I mean, I just wonder if we're going to get I'm wondering if we're going to end up with a ton of codex bloat, and I hope not.
Ooh,
because that sort of individual weapon picking gets a bit, doesn't it?
It gets to be a bit, and you know what we do with bits? We put them in the bits box.
We do.
I love the Screamer Killer. Screamer Killer, I think, taking an old model that used to be really crappy and probably metal, and then redesigning it and making it like cool. I think that's awesome, because not only are you drawing like new people in with how cool this new model is, but you're like appeasing the old heads who are like, oh man, I missed playing that thing when I was a kid. Now I get to play it again.
Yeah, the Screamer Killer does look good. I like his whole thing. Doesn't he like scream at stuff and make him take battle shock and things like that?
Throws up plasma and stuff.
Yeah, he's good.
What was it? The Neuro Tyrant the big brain one that floats.
The new one. That thing's cool.
That thing looks so cool, man. Oh man, they definitely amped up the psychic with this one, I will say, and that's actually pretty lore friendly. They put it in the books. Like they had all these new, like we got what are they called? The the little guys with the heavy weapons.
Oh yeah. The I don't
neurocytes.
Yeah.
Neurocytes. Man, those things look cool. And apparently all of this stuff is like psychic. So how does that work? But I mean, now psychic phase is gone, so everything's a weapon. So I guess that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I like the psychic phase being gone. I don't feel like we've missed it because all my psyker dudes still do cool stuff, and you don't get that weirdness like when you play orcs, unless you bring your one little psyker guy.
My weird boy.
Yeah, you didn't even participate in the psychic phase with me. You know.
Yeah, and then on top of...
And then even when you would, that dude is like no match for my Master Possession and my Dark Commune and all these other dudes.
Yeah, because while he might be okay at Psychic, you're an expert.
Yeah, and my army's not Thousand Sons or anything.
Yeah.
There's no Lord of Change standing up there being like, yeah, I've got +3 to deny your stuff.
He's just like, I'm in the warp. I know how to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you got any more Tyranid stuff? Or?
No, that's all I've got for Tyranid stuff. I think that
Space Marine board game is coming out now that we're talking about Tyranids. So Space Marine 2 is coming out, and I guess Games Workshop decided to be a little bit awesome and give Lieutenant Titus his own model. Not only that, his own board game, which is going to be on sale, guess what, at Target?
Yeah, I saw that. And I saw some pictures of that.
It's crazy. It's you play as you get a little model. It's Lieutenant Titus, and then you get a bunch of gaunts, and then you play a game of him just in one area. I guess I don't know if he tries to take objectives, but he tries not to get killed by all these Tyranids.
It looks from the pictures to be a little light on the game, and
yeah, pretty intro.
Yeah, and on one hand.
Pretty basic.
On one hand, you want to have these like mass market entry points to the hobby, right?
Yeah.
So like something that a punter could buy at Target who knows nothing about the hobby is a positive, right?
Yeah. And it gives you a little bit of lore, it gives you a little bit of an introduction, it gives you a unique model. Sure.
No, and that's probably the selling point for like the established fandom, right? But yeah, I don't know. I kind of wish there was a little more to that game. Like, for instance, could they not just put Underworlds in Target? Like, it's a self-contained game.
Yeah, I don't even really know what that is, and I've seen it, and I'm like, man, this is really downplayed.
Well, it
looks cool.
Yeah, so it's like your Space Hulk and your other things. It's one of those. It's one of those. DM in a box kind of experiences, right?
Okay.
So you draw some cards and things, and it creates encounters and generates the story for you as you and other players cooperatively go through it, I believe. Unless I've got it confused with a different game. But anyhow, I guess the impediment in the eyes of Target shoppers is that you would open the box and then you'd see all these plastic sprues.
Ooh, yeah.
But then that makes you wonder, like, what if...
Will that get, like, people who aren't into modeling, like, into modeling?
I don't know. I think there'd just be a whole lot of people that didn't understand that's what they were buying. However, what about a Target edition where they've, like, printed up some chonky-looking versions of all the models? Could that be cool?
That could be cool.
Because I'm just saying...
It's probably going to be in that, like, basic plastic, like those one-offs they do, like it's in where it's all blue plastic or all red plastic or something, but it's cheaper plastic, you know what I mean? But we've also got Combat Arena Lair of the Beast. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
Now this is really cool because you've played Bolt Gun, so you should probably know what one of these are. It is like a small fighting pit game. Apparently, you play as one of like several characters. You pick one. You could be a Blood Angel Space Marine, an Eldari Ranger, a robot for the Adeptus Mechanicus, and then they just put you on this little board, a square, and in the middle is an ambull. And you know that from Boltgun, right?
Oh, yeah.
You fight an ambull, and it's basically a free-for-all. Don't get killed by the ambull, and take out all the other players. And here, I'll show you the picture I got of it. It looks pretty dope, and it comes with all unique models.
That does look cool.
Yeah, and I'd be down for playing it. It looks cool, like a party game.
Yeah. Have you played, running down my news articles, have you played Chaos Gate?
Oh, Chaos Gate Demon Hunters?
Yeah.
I'm not really into those RTS games. I know I'm saying that after we talk about a tabletop game.
This one isn't an RTS.
Okay.
This one's turn-based.
I hate that.
And it's like XCOM. I've got it. It's quite good.
It looks cool, and I've seen the cinematics for it.
It's hard.
Is it?
It's hard. I get my head kicked in.
Fighting a demon Primarch, though, that is just,
it's awesome.
Big
it's
draw.
Awesome. And they're adding the assassins for free.
Yeah, I saw that.
Next month.
That looks cool. What all assassins are there?
All 4 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Not just one?
They got all... there's 4, right?
Yeah, there's the Calyxus, the Calitus, all of them. The anti-psyker one, the one that's a sniper, the one that has the green blades, that's a chick.
Yep.
And then I guess the other one who, I think he's just like a psycho with explosives in him. I know what they all are called.
They're all
I'm
here.
just riffing people.
They're all here.
I'm the lore master and I know this stuff, but I'm just...
And so...
For Shane's sake.
And so the idea is that we're getting that for free, and then and then I think there's going to be another DLC as well. And the last one was cool because it gave you the
oh yeah, what?
The guys in the boxes.
The guys in the
dreadnoughts.
Oh, the guys because of a box knot. Yeah, it gave you.
I'm not 100% yet.
He said box knots.
The guy in the boxes.
Yeah, and Demon Hunter looks cool. It's a sequel to an older version of the game, and it looks pretty sweet. The graphics look nice. I'm just not a turn-based game kind of guy.
Well, if you are, check it out on Steam, because that's where you can get it, and I'm sure anywhere else you get your computer games.
Is Inquisitor Martyr, and that was a really good game. Very similar to that, but not turn-based.
I guess we're both going to get Space Marine 2 and do a review on it.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I think I got to get a new Xbox, but yeah. But we also have the update of new starter sets to get people into 40K.
Go ahead and talk about those, because I don't really have much of an opinion on the starter sets.
My opinion is probably little. They have an introductory set, a starter set, and an ultimate set. They've done this in the past where when they updated with 9th, you get some models, probably for 2 sides, a little bit of instruction on how to play the game, and some paints. So you put together the models, you slap some paint on them, and then you get a little board and you play. And it's, I guess, the smallest. They went up for pre-order just yesterday, I think. The smallest one, you get 2 miniatures and a magazine. The introductory set, you get 16 miniatures, a 48-page rule book, 5 paints, some dice, a ruler, and a game mat, and paint brushes and clippers. I might just get it so I can restock some of my stuff.
Yeah, I don't...
But they go crazy. I think the biggest one, the ultimate starter set.
Yeah.
44 miniatures, 72-page rulebook, dice, rulers, game board, and you get terrain. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to see some Tyranid terrain.
I just, I don't get it. I feel like the starter sets are literally any combat patrol box. Because now that has got all the models you need to play, rules to play.
But combat patrols are one-sided. You only get your army. These introductory sets, you get 2 different factions, so 2 people can play.
Yeah, but can you play?
I mean, they give you rules, and I don't think it's going to be real deal 40K. But 10th edition's kind of changed, so we're still adjusted to. So who am I to say?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're the game master.
Well, my opinion is, go get yourself a couple of combat patrol boxes, because they're gonna have stuff that you're always gonna need, and it's also going to give you like in most cases, I mean, some of them are questionable, but a lot of the big combat patrol boxes of the factions that you're actually going to want to play give you kind of a rounded chunk of an army so that you have an idea of what direction to go when you buy your next box of stuff. And I think that's a big deal. I mean, I started off with a Abaddon and a combat patrol box.
So you went hard.
I mean, kinda. You know, I'm a grown-up with more money
with disposable
than sense.
income.
Yeah. I mean, I probably didn't need Abaddon immediately, but one thing led to another.
Well, speaking of characters, they recently posted on the Twitter a Minka Lesk miniature.
Who is that?
Minka Lesk is basically a hero of the Imperial Guard. She is mentioned, I guess, in the lore a little bit. I don't really know anything about her because it's new lore. She is getting a new book all about her called Shadow of the Eighth and a new model. A lot of people are criticizing this because, and I kind of agree, Games Workshop does not do female faces very well. They kind of look like men with lipstick. So, potato. You know, Sisters of Battle. They look cool. They look nice in the face, but they aren't really like old school Games Workshop gatekeeping. You know, throwing in let's make them look hot as all get out, and then slap some power armor on them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that I don't think there's a lot of money in judging the attractiveness of a tiny plastic girl.
Fair.
Like, what are we doing?
Fair.
The Aldari look pretty androgynous, don't they?
They look okay. I do like their new range update.
In fact, it just occurred to me.
What?
I'm the only space elves I've built are the ones out of the Nakman Kill Team box, and I think half of them have quite obviously female bodies.
Yeah, you know what a lot of people are doing? They're actually taking those heads off of those models and putting them on their Sisters of Battle.
Well, yeah, because I was going to say, it gives you no indication of what is and is not a male or female head.
Fair.
Because they all look like, you know, androgynous
feminine
space elf, you know, the kind of thing that you get where Legolas is either a really good-looking dude or a really pretty girl.
Yeah. But we've been hitting these updates pretty hard.
I've got one more.
Whoa, what's up?
On the point of Aldari, they have been adjusted. Call it nerfed if you want. I think that's a bit of a loaded term.
Been a lot of talk about this. Hit him with it, Shane.
Okay, so in the before time, you would get your 12 strand of fate dice. And let's say, Casey, that you rolled 5 6s in your pool. So you had 5 6s that you could stick in front of any dice roll you felt like at any time. So you could take your big O Wraith Knight with its devastating wounds and you could say, I'm going to attack you. And I'm going to target your biggest, baddest unit. I'm going to put a 6 into hit, so I hit you. I'm going to put a 6 into wound, so I wound you. And it's a 6, so it's a critical wound. So now it's devastating wounds. It does like 1d6 plus 2 damage or something like that. And you say, I'm going to use a third 6 to make sure it's max damage. Thank you. Goodbye. That was not terribly fair. Now, obviously, you would run out of your dice pool pretty fast that way. However, a lot of the time, whatever you're shooting hits on 3s or 2s, so you would just roll that and then only burn 2 of your dice. So you could do this for multiple turns.
But if they're smart like you and they carry around a satin bag...
So that was a little bit unfair because you could do things without even participating in the core mechanic of the game. So they've adjusted it to now you can only use 1 fate dice per phase.
Ooh.
So if you're going to do the Wraith Knight shooting thing, then you would want to get the devastating wounds on the 6 to wound, so you'd burn your 6 there. But now you would have had to actually roll to hit.
Yeah.
You're going to have to actually roll to do damage.
Okay, so it's a little...
you can still get a situation where you're like, okay, I hit you. then I'm going to put my fate dice up for the 6 to wound, so now it's devastating wounds.
Mm-hmm.
But then you've got to go roll your damage, and you can roll a 1 on your damage, which is always precious. D6 damage, here we go, 1.
Oh. Okay, well, there you go. And, yeah, it was pretty rough because I've been hearing about Eldar trying to get nerfed and people, like, complaining and all. And the game just came out. And I'm like, give it a chance, people.
Yeah, I mean, and it was just the thing was that you could use them over and over and over. Like, you could burn your whole pool in turn 1 in the first shooting phase. And, you know, obviously, at the end of the game, they're done. However, you know, you can pretty well pinpoint, you know, with like pinpoint accuracy, just delete whole chunks of your opponent's list, and that's not really what we're trying to do.
Fair. Last thing, Legionis Imperialis. Have you heard about this? It's 40K for 40K.
Is this
the tiny
the new epic thing?
Yeah. Looks cool.
It's 30K though, isn't it?
I guess, but it's like really. I don't know. I haven't looked too much into it.
Yeah, it's 30K epic, not 40K epic.
I think it's adorable, and I kind of want to try it.
You know, I don't know.
More bang for your buck.
It's something. I mean, you have to buy all new stuff.
That's fair. But it probably costs less because there's less of it. You buy a whole army in one box.
Yeah. I mean, the box I think gets you enough to play 2 whole armies against 2 whole armies, or maybe it makes 1 giant army because again, it's Space Marines v Space Marines. So it's like, you know, what do you? I mean,
and you can run the Adeptus Titanicus Titans.
There's
Titans.
There's troops in it that are so tiny. They're
you
like
get one base for like a normal Space Marine. You get like a squad of 10 Space Marines on it.
Yeah, they're like the size of grains of rice, and it's just like, what do you do? Just spray paint a couple black and spray paint a couple blue, and be like, here they are. Like how are you gonna base this stuff? Like
that Tedco paint's gonna cover all of it. Man,
I mean, really, like your sand pebbles are but so small. Like I don't know what we're doing with that.
But that's Legionis Imperialis. Anything else to add for today's episode, Shane?
I don't think so. Check this out on YouTube. Comment, like, subscribe. Tell your grandma about what a good, clean podcast this is that we put together for you.
Yeah. We try not to use too many swears. And also mention Gamers Fest to anybody who will check it out.
Yeah, and by the time you listen to this, Gamers Fest will be in full swing.
The link is pinned on our Twitter.
And next week, we'll tell you how it went.
Yeah, look forward to that. Hopefully, lore video next time, Shane? What do you think?
I don't know. I hope I can talk better next time.
Yeah, it's we've been passing this around, so hopefully the Emperor will bless Shane and get rid of the blessings of Nurgle. But until next time, guys, it's me, Casey.
And Shane.
And that's been it from the Grimdark Painting Studio.
See ya.
See ya.